This is a test clip.
Hello, this is a test clip, and this is me clipping your test stick. I give Apple a lot of crap, and they deserve every single bit of it. But I don't see anybody actually giving them the respect they deserve. I know. Hold back your laughter. For one thing, modular USB-C. So 10 years ago, Apple released the worst MacBook that's ever been made. It was the 12-inch MacBook. It was a piece of garbage, the worst processor, it was e-waste. However, with that MacBook, they released a modular USB-C. It was the first time anybody's ever released a modular USB-C, and it went overlooked. At a time when Apple was insanely anti-right to repair, they just did one of the biggest pro repair moves in the entire industry. Now, today isn't going to be me repairing a USB-C on a computer. It's me replacing the display on a MacBook Pro that got damaged during shipping. But I figured, you know what, I'd make this video into an Apple appreciation video. And listen, I want to preface this whole thing by saying, I'm the kid that had the Android robot eating the apple and peeing on it. So I wanna just let you guys know, I'm not a simp by any means. However, the more I grew up and the more I dealt with people that were using the Mac and enrolled in the Apple ecosystem, I understand it. I grew to understand it. The ecosystem is very, very good. Yes, there's an incredibly high cost of entry. It's not fair for the majority of people. However, for a lot of people, it is the easiest. It just works. And the device I have here, the M1 MacBook Pro from 2020, is still to this day the best device that you can buy if you're already enrolled in the Apple ecosystem. Yep, a used M1 MacBook Pro or Air. These things are holding their value insanely well 5 years later because they are the perfect device for basic use if you're already enrolled in the Apple ecosystem. Now, everybody in all these different countries are gonna say, what the hell are you talking about? You're dead to me. So I wanna emphasize this. In America, Apple has a stranglehold when it comes to the mobile device market. And there's a reason for that. They're idiots. But the other reason is the cost of Android phones in America for like the flagship Android phones haven't been justified because Android has such a bad rep with the budget Android phones that have flooded the market in the beginning of the mobile phone wars. I say this because I just worked on my brother's $30 Boost Mobile Android phone. It was a blue phone. It might have been a track phone. Yeah, exactly, Lupe. From Walmart. It was a $30 phone from Walmart. Brand new phone. This phone was loaded with so much bull crap that was slowing it down. The touchscreen response, I wish I recorded it. I was at Thanksgiving. I didn't want to be like, let's make content. You know, it's just a weird thing for me to do. But this one was so friggin' slow, and it just really got me thinking, like, this, if he had like a used iPhone 7, it would still be better than this thing. Even an iPhone 6 would be better than what he's using right now. And it got me thinking, this fragmentation is the reason that Android never succeeded in the US. Because I love Android, you know, and you guys out there too, you love Android as well. But the manufacturers shot themselves in the foot when they just started preloading all these Android phones with just all this bloatware. So, and the phones became so slow, so when you thought of an Android phone, all you thought about was like that $30 Android phone that is a piece of junk and is loaded with like Facebook and eBay and like Mahjong or whatever and all this just nonsense. You're not thinking of like the Pixel 10, which is probably one of the best phones you can get, period. That's why Americans don't like Android phones, just in general.
But American or not, no one likes being spied on.
That's the segue. Because privacy is important, and being spied on is creepy. But the reality is we're all being spied on by corporations that sell our data to creeps and weirdos like this guy.
Wait, what?
Thankfully, companies like Incogni exist to keep your precious info out of the hands of creeps like that sell your data on those people's search sites. Incogni also makes sure your data stays safe from people that are trying to commit fraud, like this guy did to my wife a few years ago. We had to freeze her credit, so I froze his body. But I never want to go through that trauma ever again. And that's why we signed up for Incogni. Incogni scans the entire interwebs for your data and sends takedown requests that take forever if you did it manually. And this takedown request isn't just a one-time thing. Incogni makes sure your data is removed and stays removed, just like I removed this thief from the physical world. Try it out for yourself. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And if you do end up sticking with it, which you will, use my code TechSperts at the link below to save 60% off an annual subscription. So you can just sit back and watch them fight sketchballs to take back your privacy. So that's that. So when you have an iPhone, it's in your best interest to just go balls out into the ecosystem. So you get a MacBook, you get an iPad, whatever, and it works so well. Like, these things are seamless, everything syncs, it's amazing. You have the Find My network, it's amazing. And I hate it, I hate that it's amazing, I hate it. It aggravates me, dude. It aggravates me that there's no, like, competition that's good enough. But that leads me to today's video. This MacBook Pro got damaged in shipping. We sold it on our website, the M1 MacBook Pro. I think we sold it for like $300 or something like that. The screen is broken, so we got insurance to claim it, and I bought a new screen for it. So I'm going to be replacing the screen today. So, broken screen. It probably had pressure. We packed it very well. We pack good here at Salem TechSperts, but it must have been pressure right here and it just broke the LCD, whatever. But I wanted to just give appreciation to Apple, not the company itself, but to the engineers that made the modular USB-C. In 2025, we still don't have many devices that have modular USB-C. The MacBooks all have them. Lenovo just released a P1 Gen 8 that does have a modular USB-C. Super interesting design. I'm gonna put a clip here. So the USB-C port itself is soldered into the motherboard, but it's recessed. And there's an attachment that goes into the USB-C port that you can replace. It's the craziest thing, and it took Lenovo way too long to do this. The X1 Carbons way back, they were all known to have these ports fail on them eventually. It's the biggest, like, Achilles heel of the ThinkPad series is the USB-C port. They don't all break, but it is the thing that breaks. Like, it's going to be the thing that breaks. Dell is doing it as well. Apple deserves credit for doing it 10 years ago, and now we see the different designs now because they were forced to do it. Thanks, shout out to the EU. Thank you for actually caring about the consumer. So to start this repair, I need a suction cup, so I'm gonna use my iFixit toolkit.
Hell yeah.
Still not sponsored by iFixit. I had to buy that with my own money. My subscriber bought that for me, I didn't even buy it. They do not deserve credit for that. What is this? What is that, Lupe? That battery's torn. Well, that's not good. Oh, it's kind of swollen too. So this is our computer that we sold to a customer. I would never sell a computer that has that mark on it. Yeah, I think they opened it up and I think they accidentally...
Pierce the battery?
Yep, I think they pierced the battery on this guy. Well, this is news to me. Look at this closely. I don't know if you can even see that with the angle. So it looks like there's a burn mark here. So if we line this up, that lines up perfectly with that. So that's nice. Now I have to order a battery for this thing. That's cool. I don't know if the customer did it. I'm not gonna blame anybody for it. I just 100% would have seen that before I sold the device. Whatever. We're still gonna replace the screen, and if I turn it on and I blow up, you know what? I'd be thankful for it, because at this point I'd welcome that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. The screen replacements on these M1 MacBook Pros and the Airs are pains in the ass. They're not a fun thing to do. They're not very easy to do. There's a lot of small screws, a lot of minefields. They could have made this display so much easier to replace. This is a stupid design. I'm definitely not gonna give them credit for this one. But I will give them credit. This is not an upgradable computer. Right off the bat, they don't deserve... I'm gonna raise this a little. I'm very short. This is actually just 13 inches off the ground. Lupe's on his knees right now.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate because Apple does this like pro repair stuff, like the USB-C. They sell parts on their online store, but there's always a catch. There's always a catch with Apple. The parts, they cost insane amounts of money. Like to replace this battery, if I were to go to the online store to do that, it would be more than this device is even worth right now because they sell it with the top case. There is no excuse for that. I don't give a crap. Try not to swear. What excuse they'll try to give, there's no excuse for that. And they don't deserve credit for making this thing unupgradable. So the SSD is soldered, the RAM is soldered, but in terms of performance and in terms of longevity, this device is super, super, super reliable. Straight, I mean, it is. You can't argue that it's not. You can try, but you're going to lose that argument. The M1 MacBook Pro was probably the very first generation where they didn't have a significant design flaw. Every other MacBook before had some sort of just insane design flaw where the motherboard would like fry itself or the GPU would die. There was just always something going on. But for 99% of people, they're just going to use this device to do homework, and it serves that purpose. For a college kid or whatever, this is perfect. If they're already enrolled in the Apple ecosystem. I'm gonna just keep saying that, because if they're not, you should buy a Lenovo ThinkPad. Used. I'm cheap. Don't buy this new. Don't buy a MacBook new. It's stupid. Go on eBay and grab one used, and you'll save hundreds of friggin' dollars, sometimes even like $1,000. But for the price that you can get it used, it is 100% worth its weight in gold. It really is an amazing computer, which is why, again, the prices haven't dropped in so long. It's fairly easy to repair, not upgrade. Big difference between repair and upgrade. And again, I'm speaking, I'm just gonna keep on talking, because I have a lot to say about this. Because for years, I don't think you guys understand, I was so anti-Apple, to the point where when I worked at nonprofit, shout out to the Food Project and Food Corps, they ran solely on Apple devices, common for a lot of nonprofits. And I refused to use their Mac, the Macs that they provided. I just straight up refused to use it. I would come to meetings with my Alienware M17 or M18X. It was one of just a huge Alienware, the most obnoxious jet engine with the RGB lights. And I would be on like a meeting with all these people with these fancy MacBooks.
Can someone explain to me what's that noise?
Yeah, exactly, and it's me in the corner fucking blasting off. That's how staunchly opposed I was to using any Apple products. So all you guys in the comments that are raging right now, saying you lost respect for me and all this stuff, it wasn't until I started working with the general public and I was forced to use Apple devices where I started to understand, like, oh, this is what everybody's talking about. Because you can't argue the quality and how these are physically built. The hinges, for example, the keyboard, these things are just physically built so well, dude. They're so resilient to being abused. And Lord knows, me and Lupe have seen abused Macs, and these things have just kept going. And it's so funny because the way they died was because of design, the stupidest design flaws. It wasn't even because they got beat up. It was like the dumbest design flaws. One of the greatest laptops ever made, and I'll stand by this, is the 2012 MacBook Pro, closely followed by the 2015 MacBook Pro. The 2012 MacBook Pro, I made a video on it. I think it was a short video. Probably nobody watched it. You guys are the long-form master race. It was the most upgradable laptop. Everything was modular. The only thing soldered was the CPU. You could upgrade everything. You can add a second hard drive to it, the 13-inch models and the 15-inch models. But the GPU in the 15-inch models would cook itself because the cooling system was garbage. Even to this day, the 2015 MacBook Pro is still a very usable computer. It's quite impressive. So yeah, it wasn't until I started working with these people and I saw how much easier the Apple ecosystem made their life. The price of entry was very high back in the day. Now, not so much, because the used market is flooded with a bunch of iPhones that you can grab that last forever, by the way. You know, you can use your iPhone for like 6-7 years. My dad still rocks an iPhone 8 Plus. And I've replaced the battery 3 times.
Wow. For
like 10-15 bucks. It was great. Like, he still uses his 8 Plus and he loves it. And that thing is like 6,000 times faster than my poor brother's $30 Android phone. I am buying him an iPhone. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. I consider myself a very logical person, a very rational person. So I look at everything with an open mind. And Apple deserves credit where it's due. And I'm giving them the credit. And I feel like the engineers don't hear thank you enough. You know, thank you, you did a great job. So this is my video saying thank you, you did a great job. And I'm also gonna say to the engineers, why the fuck did you make replacing the display this hard? Because this is ridiculous. Look at this, to replace a damn screen. Not to mention the screen costs an arm and a leg. You know, I got it on Amazon for like 150 bucks or something like that, but like, give me a break, my dude. But when it comes to the ecosystem, still nothing beats the Apple ecosystem. And that's just the way it is. Things are never gonna be the same. That's just the way it is. Oh yeah. All right, where's my, I need to go to screwdriver number 73. That's not it. This might be it. Aha, it was it. Now what I should probably do is test the screen before I install it fully. But we don't do that here at Salem Techsperts. So, I mean, this Christmas, if you're looking to get your son, or even for yourself, you're looking to get like a computer that just does basic use, and you guys already have iPhones or you're already enrolled in the Apple ecosystem, look for an M1 MacBook Pro. M1, you can go up, M2, M3 or whatever, but most people, the M1 still works just fine. You know, Apple tends to take care of their products. It lasts quite a while. even when the operating system stops being updated, which it probably will in about like 3 years or so, it'll still work. Just certain things might not function in a few years from that. So this is what I wanted to show you. This is what I'm talking about. This is the USB-C port. Even though I did replace the screen, this is the USB-C port I am talking about. I'm not going to take it out completely because it requires removing the motherboard. These two USB-C ports are on a daughter board that disconnects. 2015, they started doing that. They didn't switch over completely until like 2018 or something like that, but that's the stuff I want to see be the norm in the industry. Replaceable modular stuff. Because yes, all of you who micro solder and are very good at it, we get it. You deserve all the respect in the world. Seriously. However, the average consumer is not going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to solder a USB-C port. It's so much easier and better for the environment to just implement it during the manufacturing process, instead of the person not being able to do it, not wanting to pay $200 or whatever for a shop to do it, and just throwing it in the trash and going out and buying another one. That's why I show them so much appreciation for this tiny little feature. I'm really upset about that battery though. This damn glued-in battery. They deserve to eat shit on that one. It's so aggravating. All this freaking adhesive for no reason on their battery. Like you're gonna skydive with this MacBook and somehow it's gonna, you know, come out. The 2012 models and before had 3 screws and the battery came right out. And then 2015 they started just gluing it in with a crap ton of adhesive, and it's such a nightmare. It sucks. I hate doing that friggin' repair. All right, I'm gonna plug in the battery and then we're gonna turn this baby on. And we're gonna wrap this video up. So let's see if this thing friggin' works. I hope this screen isn't broken. Well, this isn't good. I don't see a Apple logo, Lupe, do you?
I think it's behind the white screen there, on the white sticker.
Yep. We got something. Hello! Okay, it worked.
Wow.
It worked. It looks just about the same quality as the old one. I'm happy with this. I am satisfied. This is good to go. We're gonna fix this up. I'll replace the battery. I won't make a video on that. You guys probably don't care about this MacBook anymore. And yeah, thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate your viewership and your subscribership. And mine and Lupe's relationship.
Yes. Support the Patreon.
Support the Patreon. Lupe needs money. You can get behind the scenes views of everything that happens here, all the nonsense that we do here, and it's very fun, enjoyable. Thank you. Now, if you notice, today's video looks a lot better than the past videos. I'm gonna show you why. Are you ready? You see this piece of cardboard?
All right, let's get going.
Look, no, now. Sorry about that. This piece of cardboard is blocking out the light. So the image is no longer covered by this weird film, this like bloom effect. Look at that, huh? Just like a camera has a lens, I have a piece of cardboard, because that's how I do it here at Salem Techsperts, until I get a real camera, which I'm still undecided on, because I have 6,000 different suggestions and I just can't. I'm very indecisive, so thank you. Thank you for watching. All right, Lupe, take it out.